Ladies and gentlemen, so Phil Spencer has finally spoken, and we know what's the future of Xbox. Well, sort of. At least we know that it's not all doom and gloom for Xbox, that's for sure. So let's look into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So did you watch the Xbox podcast yesterday? Well, I'm sure some of you did for sure. I did, and yeah, that podcast wasn't really that bad. And I'm talking about the news, right? There wasn't really anything negative, anything bad for Xbox there, right? I mean, all the news they announced were kind of confirming that their strategy hasn't really changed that much, right? I mean, there will be some changes, and there's some changes coming even very soon, but it's not like, oh, all Xbox games going to be on PlayStation like tomorrow, right? Okay, but let's start with the elephant in the room. So is Starfield and Indiana Jones coming to PlayStation? Not really, not at the moment at least, right? Phil Spencer did say that these two games are staying on Xbox and PC, and no PlayStation and Nintendo version is planned right now. But he also did say that in the future things may change, and I'll get into that in a minute because this is the big shift in Microsoft's strategy, I guess, for the future. But not only Xbox really. Yeah, I'll discuss that in a minute. So Indiana Jones and Starfield are not coming to PlayStation. That's one thing. They did confirm that there's 4 titles, Xbox games, that are coming to PlayStation. I mean, he did say other platforms, so I guess, probably Switch too. He did not tell us the titles, but there's already speculation and leaks about it. So that's probably Pentiment, that's probably Hi-Fi Rush, and also 2 service games, because they did say that there's like 2 service games, so that's probably Grounded and Sea of Thieves, right? So, not necessarily the biggest of them Xbox exclusives, if you know what I mean, console exclusives, right? And he did say that this is going to be a sort of an experiment. And obviously, he doesn't really want anyone to believe that if that experiment works, if it succeeds, that the floodgate will open and all Xbox games will end up on PlayStation. So really, what he's saying here is that it's going to be on a game-by-game basis in the future. So some games will end up on other platforms, while others not really. So I do believe that when it comes to some of the leaks and rumors we've seen in the past, that probably they did sit down and they were like, okay, so this is all our Xbox games, which games we may put on other platforms, right? So when it comes to considering certain titles, yeah, probably every single game was under consideration, but realistically speaking, they don't really want to really obviously change things like overnight. And that's actually very good news. That's another big news that comes out of it, that they are not going to do the Xbox One back in 2013 again, right? They just okay, let's just start everything from scratch. Let's forget what was going on with Xbox 360. Let's just do Xbox One in a different way, right? So it's a good news that they are not going to be shifting overnight and changing things overnight, right? So that's good news. Even if there's changes coming, and yes, they are coming, they will be introducing these changes, slowly, gradually, right? That makes sense, because they will be, instead of doing a revolution, it will be evolution. They will be evolving because the gaming market evolves too, and actually PlayStation had some bad news yesterday too about the console sales and stuff. I'll probably talk about it later. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to these games, these are 4 games that are coming, and yeah. Another thing worth talking about is the fact that, first off, Xbox Game Pass, they did announce numbers, 34 million, which doesn't really sound that high if you consider the fact that they count in the core users there too, so Xbox Live Gold users too. So 34 million is not really that high, but they want to grow it, of course. Xbox games day one in Game Pass still is a thing. That's not going anywhere. So that's very good news, because there's been a lot of rumors suggesting that that's not going to happen anymore. So Phil Spencer did confirm that Xbox Game Pass is actually profitable. So that's good news, and sustainable. So that's good news. Now they just have to grow it. So that another thing, they did announce Diablo 4 coming to Game Pass in March, or I think like 20th of March or something like that. They did talk about new hardware, and there's some hardware announcements coming later this year during holiday season. Apparently they want to announce something. So no details on that, but they did confirm that Xbox still, and Microsoft still supports Xbox consoles. Console is still pretty important when it comes to that gaming division. It's a good revenue stream, that's for sure. So consoles are not going anywhere. Xbox Game Pass is not going anywhere. So they still want to invest. Also, they did say that there's going to be obviously ABK games coming to Game Pass, more ABK games coming to Game Pass. So that's very good news. So guys, I know that there's been a ton of leaks and rumors suggesting that it's all doom and gloom for Xbox, and Microsoft is going full third party. That's not the case. Phil did say that exclusives still matter to a degree. And like I said, they will be considering other titles in the future. So I would imagine that service games, you can assume that pretty much all service games are going to be on other platforms, because it kind of makes sense. Some smaller titles may end up later on other platforms too. But me personally, I don't believe that these core Xbox games are coming to PlayStation at any point. And also consider the fact that PlayStation market is shrinking too, right? So I mean, Switch is another thing. It's totally another thing, because they are growing. I mean, at least they kind of keep up their numbers, while PlayStation, they just there was this report yesterday where Sony's CEO did say that they did not reach their goals, PlayStation 5 sales goals. They were planning 25 million consoles sold, and looks like they will reach only 21. I say only, but I'm talking about their plans, right? So they really wanted to sell more, and that's despite the fact that the last year was very good for PlayStation. Well, last year was very good for PlayStation for gaming overall. They had very good deals, marketing deals like Hogwarts Legacy. They ran a couple of good promotions on PlayStation 5. So at some point they even were selling PlayStation 5 for $350, right? So, and despite all these kind of good news and, very good gaming year, they didn't reach their goal. So that just goes to show that, consoles are console market is, I don't really want to call it a crisis just yet, but it's kind of shrinking, right? And I don't think that consoles are going anywhere, but I think that console gaming may be going more mobile, in the future, and that's why Switch is what it is. Switch 2 is going to be a hybrid console too, so still handheld. Now PlayStation and Microsoft is considering releasing handhelds too, so they see this shift, right? There's more and more games coming to PC. PC is a great gaming platform for folks that really want to play on at home, really. And there's like, yeah, things are changing, and I don't even know where that's going to end up, and obviously there's streaming services and that, so there's so many ways to play games these days, and you've got mobile too. Like I said that many times, my 11 years old now son, he prefers to play on PC or mobile. He plays mobile games a lot with his friends, right? So that's why these handheld devices are kind of make sense too, because these kids are kind of they are really they born into this kind of mobile market kind of world, if you know what I mean, right? I mean, me, like I'm like 44, and when I was born, like there was no such devices, right? Like computers and obviously when I was a kid, computers and consoles were a thing, so that's very natural for me. But like for these kids, like mobile devices are the thing like right now, right? So accessibility, actually that's what they care about. That's why PlayStation is going to be shifting. Not saying that they won't be producing consoles anymore, but they realize that if they want to grow, they have to really focus on other ways of delivering these games to gamers in the future. So things are changing, and that's why both PlayStation and Microsoft are kind of changing their strategy. And I mean, Sony did announce that they will be accelerating their first party games releases on PC and maybe other platforms, who knows, in the future. So we'll see how that goes. But interesting times we live in, that's for sure. And but it's good to see that Xbox is not going anywhere, that Phil Spencer, I mean, things are still up in the air, but don't expect, like I said in my previous videos, don't expect like all these Xbox games on other platforms. Some games, yes. Some games day one, probably two, like service games, while other games may end up on PlayStation, Nintendo still, but later. So it's going to be this kind of a hybrid approach, I guess, right? But I still think that some games will stay exclusive for the platform, because if you really want to bring more people into ecosystem, you need some content that will basically drag their feet there, right? So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.